All right, coming at you guys from my garage here at home, but figured I'd go ahead and upload some of these clips of some older content we have of some of the last structural repair we finished up on the Opel GT and some of the last stages on the 54 Corvette since it is prepped for paint. So I figured I'll go ahead and get this video out there, and then we have a little bit more filmed on that 55 gasser. So look for more of that content probably in the next few days. When we figure out more with the route we're going with the car, depending on what the owner wants to do. So go ahead and enjoy these last clips of some sheet metal repair and some little bit of the Corvette stuff. And yeah, I want to thank you guys for all the love we've been getting lately. A lot of the comments and people reaching out, and we really enjoy it. We just, I'm not doing this to, be YouTube famous or something. I just really enjoy making videos and working on old cars. So I may end up doing a video on some of my Volkswagen stuff if anyone's interested, because that's what I do outside of doing hot rods. So but anyway, yeah, go ahead and enjoy this stuff, and be on the lookout for more 55 gasser content as well as more Nomad content. So if you haven't got caught up, go back to some of our older videos and watch the other, I think 3 previous Nomad videos. So yeah, thanks, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. All right, we finished up the last support brace piece, so that ties this whole side together, and it is now done, and we're ready to move to the top side. But before we do that, that'll be probably the next Opel video you see, which will be doing the top portions of this. So here we are at the bottom. So everything is all completely brand new, and all this stuff is handmade. You can't buy any of it. So there's the piece I just made. So it ties that whole structure in. So that's done with the hole drilled as well and the outside shaped, and then obviously this stuff you saw prior. So this side's all finished up, and Graydon finished up just before I did and got his side all done as well. So his didn't go up as high as mine on this side. It was a little bit better over here for that portion anyway. So all his stuff is done as well. And then he already started on this portion, which like I said, you'll see more of that in the next video. So that's where we are. And then once those top portions are done, we'll be moving on to clipping the front end of this thing. All right, guys, we left off at the end of last video. I kind of showed you where I finished as well as where Graydon was starting. So he got this whole section finished up over here. I'll show you that in a minute. But I cut this whole, well, actually Graydon cut this section out here and remade this flange here. And then I just remade this whole piece, and it is ready. As you can tell, it's a little too tall, so it just needs trimmed off all the way across, and then I'll make a flange that runs across the top portion here, and then we'll smooth out all those welds, and hopefully you won't be able to tell that it was remade. And then we got to make the top plate for over here as well. And then over on this side is where we left off, showing a big rust hole. We didn't film a whole lot just because we've shown enough sheet metal repair. So you replaced all this flange, all this stuff on top, plated it and flanged this, as you can see the flange there, and remade all this, and he's fixing some of this portion right there. So we'll film a little bit of an update when we get all this finished up and smoothed out. All right, guys, we've both been working on a couple different pieces here. So we got these all tacked up. He just got this made. He held some stuff in place while I tacked it in for him. So, and we still got to trim this edge up here a little bit, but yeah, this will be ready to be finished welded in. Made the top angled piece here, and that'll be welded across this seam as well. And then that'll be smooth and rounded to match the other side. So then after we weld it, we'll smooth everything out, and should be good as new. We got the 54 Vet over here on the lift. Graydon put the bracing back in it, so that way when we lift it up, we just don't run any risk of it flexing or wanting to separate. He's getting a little tray off the bottom right now, And then we are working on getting all this dirt and grime off. As you can see, it's what it looked like before. You can see all the crap there, and then just kind of scraping it off down to the fiberglass so we can get this thing undercoated. So we're gonna get some undercoating here probably at lunch, and then we'll get back with you while we're still scraping and getting some undercoating sprayed on it. All right, we got the bottom of the bed all cleaned up, so I'll give you a little view of what that looks like. We got it all scraped down to the bare glass, which is how it was anyway. Same with the wheel wells. Wheel wells got some primer in them just from when we were priming the car, but now we got our paint and stuff to do this underside, so we're gonna go ahead and get started on it. You can see a spot where we just did a test hit right there, and we'll go from there. All right, we left off the end of the week last week with getting the underside of the Corvette all done up. So it's all finished. And I know we haven't seen a video in a while on the truck, but we'll get a big update on it soon. We're finishing wiring. And there's some footage I lost on it, so I'm going to have to go over quite a bit. But we'll make a big update video on that and hopefully make it pretty fun and cool, and then dive back into finishing the truck. But for now, we're going to keep on this Vette on the 54, which you've seen progress on previous videos. So where we're at right now, as you may have seen, we got the bottom side completely done. And where we're at with the car itself is the dash on these are two-tone. It's an ivory white lower with a red upper for the, it's a Polo white car. And you got to run flattener in that, and I can't remember if we filmed anything on it. I don't think we did, but it's covered up for now. We'll show you that at a later time. But the top of the dash is done. We're ready for the ivory white on the bottom. Inside, the convertible area is done as well, and gas tank will sit in there, and the convertible top rolls down into that area, which we got these ready to go. We got to paint the hinges. Trunk is also done as well, and the engine bay. So what we are doing now is I got all the dust and stuff kind of blown off of it because I had to untape some stuff that was covered to keep it from getting overspray, but blew it all out, got it ready. We're gonna actually plastic off all these painted areas I just showed you, as well as the whole underside of the car to prevent any overspray from getting to it. And that way we can get ready to wet sand and paint the car, because it's ready, it's pretty close. So once we do all that, we'll be ready to wet sand it. One more thing before any of that, we got to address this radiator support kind of area. It's a little rough from overspray and whatnot, so we're going to rough this area up in here and get it sprayed the same as what the engine bay is. So we'll get those areas plasticed off, like I said, and get this sprayed. I know this was kind of a long talking portion, but hopefully we'll show us doing a little work on this thing and make it a little more fun. All right, a little update on the Corvette. I think I left off having the body over here, and we were going to be wet sanding it. And we ended up getting the whole thing done. Didn't show any of the action, but door jambs are done. headlight buckets, the whole thing. We got the whole underneath side encapsulated so we didn't get it all nasty. Same with like the engine bay and stuff, so it's all done. And Graydon got both doors wet sanded as well, and he just finished up the trunk. So that's done right there. And then what I've been working on, as you can tell where the striker plate goes right here on the door jamb. If you look behind here, you can see the little adjustable plate that the bolts thread into. Well, over here on the driver's side was completely gone. Well, I got the bolts in there. I got the bolts holding in a plate I made that's the exact same as that side. And then I made this encapsulated deal that will actually be riveted in just like the factory. And then that piece actually slides around inside here. So we're gonna get this thing riveted in and we should have a usable striker plate mount again. Got the plastic pulled off the bottom of the Corvette and we got the cart rolled back in. So now we're going to actually lower this thing back down to get it back on the chassis. So we'll probably throw a little time lapse in here and so you guys can see us get it back down on this cart. And then basically it's going to get wrapped up in plastic so we can move it until it's ready for paint, which will be sometime here in the near future. Okay guys, to end off, this is going to be my outro for the vet side of things on this video. I think we left off there the last clip where we lowered the body back down on the cart. So what we did is we bolted it back to the cart and we rolled it back over in the booth for storage for just a little bit because we're going to be off the body because it's so freaking cold out. It's hard to keep the booth at a proper temperature to paint, just to get it. We don't want to take any chances, basically is what I'm getting at. But to kind of get you updated on where we're at, we rolled it over, got it covered up with plastic. But Graydon did get, let's see if I can uncover him a little bit here. I think there's one of the pieces under here. Yeah, so he got the bottom side, that'd be the convertible top cover. He got the underneath side sprayed red, as you can tell. Well, as good as we can tell, it looks awesome. He got the underside of the trunk sprayed red as well. And I think I showed the engine bay and stuff. It's painted in satin black. The underside of the hood is painted in satin black. So we've made some pretty good progress on it. And I think the video you will see after the Corvette, we are back on our Shop 55 Nomad project, bracing it and doing the floor. So as of right now, that's about as far as we've got on the Vet, and we're going to get more chassis parts ordered for this. So like brake line, fuel line, wheel bearing, stuff to finish off the chassis. So the next Vet video down the road will probably be a little bit more chassis work. So I think that's really about it. If you want to get caught up, go back, look at some of our older videos, especially the Nomad, to see where we're at and get caught up with the new video that'll be out after this one. And give us a like and share and subscribe.